going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin' Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Let's start with the NFL scores, because Week 9 is in the books. So on Thursday Night Football, we had the Steelers defeating the Titans 20-16. The Steelers are the first team in NFL history to be outgained in each of their first 8 games of the season and be above 500. I don't know how they're 5-3. That offense is horrible. Kenny Pickett is not the guy. He's not very good. They can't really run the ball. They're starting to run the ball a little bit more as Jalen Warren is getting a little more work now. And Najee Harris is still a star. They're much more split though. Najee Harris looks a little better. Still, not the guy we thought not the guy we saw 2 years ago coming out of Alabama, who was not with the Rookie of the Year finals rookie year. Their offensive line is terrible. I know they've don't have your tight end Pat Freiermuth right now, who's very good, and you were without Deontay Johnson, who's your second best receiver, very underrated receiver for a while. Just got him back, but that defense is absolutely phenomenal. Mike Tomlin is one of the best head coaches in the NFL. He's one of the best head coaches in the NFL history. He's been the head coach for 15 years. He's never had a losing season. Of course, he has a Super Bowl ring. He's a phenomenal coach, and he's got this team at 5-3. So there was some drama with George Pickens. He's only had 3 catches over his last 2 games. He had 2 catches for -1 yard this past game. He posted a story on Instagram saying, "Free me." If you ask me, he's being very selfish. The team just picked up a win. They're 5-3. They're right. They're, I believe, in playoff position right now. Right there in the division. And he's complaining like he's being very selfish. And if you saw, Deontay Johnson had his first touchdown catch in like 2 years, and he just walked off the field. Like, the dude's being extremely selfish right now. He's a great player, one of the best young receivers in the game, great talent, but he's being very selfish. Titans lose to the Steelers in that one. In Germany, Chiefs beat the Dolphins 21-14. The Dolphins have not beaten a team above 500 in over 400 days. So that they have one win over a team over 500 in the last 700 days, and the most recent one was like 400 at this point, like 407 or 408 days ago. That's crazy. To me, they're kind of frauds. They might win the division. The Bills are a game behind Miami. The Bills did beat them earlier in the year. I'm definitely not sold on the Bills. They're kind of struggling. The Jets obviously have concerns on offense, and the Patriots, their season's basically over. So they may end up squeaking out 10-11 wins and may win that AFC East, but I don't expect them to do anything in the playoffs. Tua those 493 yards and a touchdown. I don't really think Tua is that great of a quarterback. He's in an insanely talented offense. Tyreek Hill is probably right now, with Justin Jefferson out the way, he's playing the best receiver in the NFL. Jalen Wild's also phenomenal. Those 2 of the fastest receivers the league's ever seen. You got, 2 really good fast running backs, Raheem Mostert and Devin A. is on his way back from an injury. You got some depth guys at receiver like Robbie Chosen-Anderson, Braxton Berrios, Chase Claypool. None of these guys are that good, but it gives them some depth. So you can put pretty much any quarterback in that offense, and they could do what Tua's doing. He's really not that great. He didn't play great against Kansas City. Chiefs pick up a win. They get to 7-2. Vikings beat the Falcons 31-28. Josh Dobbs, of course, they pick him up on a trade from Arizona. He was starting this year for Arizona for the injured Kyler Murray this year. And Arizona says, we're going to bench him. Either Kyler's coming off the PUP list, or we're going to start Clayton Tune. And then they end up trading him to Minnesota. Minnesota says we're still starting Jaron Hall. Of course, last week they lose Kirk Cousins for the year to a torn Achilles. But I just saw the 4th-round rookie at BYU and Jaron Hall, or 5th round. Yeah, and then he gets hurt. So then Dobbs, who only been on the team 5 days, didn't even know his teammates' names, didn't even know the cadences or the plays. He came in and he played phenomenal. After the game, they showed a clip I saw on social media. He came locker room a little bit after his teammate. He couldn't find the locker room. This kind of reeks of Baker Mayfield last year when he got traded to the Rams, when the Rams picked him up. Rams signed him off the street, and then he gets thrown in there. Only a couple days after, and he let the comeback winning against the Raiders. That was crazy, and Kevin O'Connell announced that he will start in Week 10. So he Yeah, I thought he was actually very serviceable in Arizona, considering what the hand he was dealt. He was a he originally signed in Cleveland to be a backup to Deshaun Watson in Cleveland. Then right before the season, I think around roster cutdown day, he was traded to Arizona. Arizona, decides, all right, we're putting Kyler on the pup list, so he's gonna miss the first bunch of games of the season. So I had to cut Colt McCoy, who we thought was gonna start. So then it was down to Josh Dobbs, a career backup with 2 career starts, who had only been on the team for a few days, or Clayton Tune, I think a 6th-round rookie or something like that. And Josh Dobbs ended up starting week 1, and he went out there and played a little better than expected. And then, here he gets traded to the Minnesota Vikings at the trade deadline. And 5 days later, gets thrown in there middle of the game after Jaron Hall gets hurt. And went out there and played phenomenal and let a comeback win over the Atlanta Falcons. So shout out to him. So the Vikings have now won 5 of their last 6 games, and they are at 5-4. Falcons are up to 4-5. Browns beat the Cardinals 27-0. That Browns defense is really freaking good. Arizona is now 1-8. They're horrible. Packers over the Rams 20-3. Yeah, both teams aren't very good. The Rams, they're not good. Obviously, didn't have Matthew Stafford, so Brett Rippon started, didn't go very well. Commanders over the Patriots 20-17. Sam Howell throws for 325, a touchdown to the pick. So Commanders sneak past the New England Patriots. That Patriots offense is absolutely brutal. They're dropped 2-7. Commanders are now at 4-5. Saints over the Bears 24-17. Tyson Bagent does 220, two touchdowns, but 3 interceptions. He's for an undrafted Division II quarterback, he's not bad, but he's obviously not a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL. Saints are at 5-4. Bears are 2-7 on the season, and they might have the first 2 picks in next year's draft. We have the Ravens over the Seattle Seahawks, 37-3. Absolutely rolled them. Okay, Geno Smith, he has not been as good as he was last year. I don't really think he's that good of a quarterback, to be honest. I like what I saw from him last year, but he's not very good. He's just in a really good offense, to be honest. The Ravens are playing real 7-2. It's not even really Lamar Jackson. Lamar's been kind of just okay this year, I feel like. Their run game is really picking up. For a while, it was just kind of Lamar. Gus Edwards has been playing really well. Keaton Mitchell had a big game. He ran for 130 yards and a touchdown this game. Mark Andrews had a big game, 9 catches, 80 yards. OBJ played well this past week. A guy who has struggled this year, he played well. Ravens are playing really well, and their defense has been great all year. So 37-3, they stomp the Seahawks. Texans over the Bucks, 39-37. C.J. Stroud, what a dog! 470 yards and 5 touchdowns for a rookie. Give him Offensive Rookie of the Year right now. Huge game. Leads a comeback win. They were down. It's funny. They were down a couple points. 40 seconds to go, they gave him the ball, and he went on Pat Mahomes' arc. 40 seconds left, another game-winning drive. He is absolutely phenomenal. Carolina, regardless of what Bryce Young turned into, Carolina will definitely regret taking Bryce Young over Stroud. Give him Offensive Rookie of the Year right now. Absolute stud. Colts over the Panthers, 27-13. Speaking of the devil, Bryce Young threw 3 interceptions. Didn't look good. He threw 2 pick sixes to Kenny Moore. They are 1-7, and they don't have a first-round pick. I think they're not going well in Carolina. Raiders over the Giants, 30-6. And bad news, Daniel Jones, who came back after missing 3 games with a neck injury, he hurt his knee. He's a torn ACL and is out for the year. This might be the last time we see him in a Giants uniform. Torn ACL obviously is tough. It's week 9, so not even sure if he'll start next year. Not injured. And, there's an out in his contract. There's a way for the Giants to get out of his contract without, financially after next year. I think they'll do that. Giants, their only quarterback right now is Tommy DeVito because Tyrod Taylor isn't eligible to come off IR for another 3 weeks. So, to me, their season is definitely over. They're staring maybe 4-13 in the face. 5-12, they can get a miracle. So they're going to mostly have a top 5 pick. If I'm the Giants, I take somebody high in the draft. Take a really good quarterback. You develop them. And then, you're probably stuck with Daniel Jones next year, especially since he's coming off, he's probably going to start the year on maybe on the PUP list next year. And then after next season, cut him loose. And then go from there. That's probably your best option. This team is dead in the water. Really no direction. But the Raiders, clearly Josh McDaniels was the problem. Something came out so that they had a team meeting that the players ripped into McDaniels. Antonio Pierce spoke on his behalf. He's their interim coach, who was a linebackers coach at the time. He said that he wants because he was a player on the 2007 Giants team. They beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. He said he wanted the Raiders to have that mindset that the 2007 Giants did. And McDaniels, who was of course the Patriots offensive coordinator at that time, said, "Don't you ever talk about the Patriots like that," and that completely divided the room. And that's when Mark Davis realized he wanted Antonio Pierce as his head coach, and he let go of McDaniels. And of course, Dave Ziegler, the GM, and the offensive coordinator Mick Lombardi followed him out the door. Whereas now at 4-5, Eagles beat the Cowboys 20-23. Eagles tried to hand the game back to the Cowboys. The Eagles got to stop on 4th down. Then they go 3-0. DeAndre Swift fumbled on that 3rd down run when they're trying to run out the clock. Thankfully, Eagles were able to recover it. Then next play, James Bradbury takes a bad pass interference, deep pass. Then you had a bad roughing the passer on Hassan Reddick. Then you had an offsides call on corner, but then Dallas jumps, so they gave it right back. But Dak, pulled a Dak. Some bad throws. On the last play, could have spiked it and said ran a play, threw it out of bounds, kind of wasted a lot of time. The last play of the game, like 20, 30 yards out, didn't even get to the end zone. So Eagles escaped. They win 20-23. They are 8-1 on the year, best record of the NFL. Bengals over the Bills on Sunday Night Football, 24-18. Burrow for 348 and 2 touchdowns. He's clearly healthy now. They continue to play well. They're 5-3. Bills up to 5-4. Then on Monday Night Football, the Chargers beat the Jets 27-6. That was disgusting by the Jets. Zach Wilson played terrible. Was not on him. The offensive line was horrible. They gave up 8 sacks. You had drop passes. You had a lot of fumbles. Wilson lost 2 fumbles, almost lost a third. Breece Hall, I believe he lost a fumble. Gary Wilson lost a fumble. They gotta hold on to the ball. They gotta do better than that. That was disgusting. That was a game they really needed to win, and they didn't. Still at 4-4. Still right there in the playoff picture. Season's far from over. But that one definitely hurt. And only other note I have really for NFL is that Mark Davis, speaking of Mark Davis firing Ziegler and McDaniels, he paid $85 million to do that. Yeah, that organization is a dumpster fire. Let's do the college football scores now. The recap from week 10 of the college football season. You had Ohio State, who came in the top-ranked team, beat Rutgers 35-16. So Rutgers hung around for a while, then Ohio State's muscles took over. You had Georgia, who came in number 2, beat number 12 Missouri 30-21. So that was a close game. Missouri's actually pretty good this year. Number 3 Michigan beats Purdue 41-13. Of course, the investigation on that team continues. Connor Staley is the recruiting coordinator, just got fired, is being investigated. Jim Harbaugh's being investigated. I think Jim Harbaugh is in the NFL next year. He doesn't need all these headaches. He's gonna get out of there sooner rather than later. Number 4 Florida State over Pitt 24-7. Number 5 Washington over number 20 USC 52-42. A very high scoring game. Michael Penix for 312 and 3 touchdowns. I'm telling you, this kid Caleb Williams is a great player, great talent. Probably goes number 1 overall, but I don't think he's a generational talent. I think being overhyped just a little bit. Yeah, number 6 Oregon over Cal 63-19. Bo Nix for 386, 4 touchdowns on the pick. Number 7 Texas over number 23 Kansas State 33-30 in overtime. We had number 8 Alabama over number 14 LSU 42-28. We had number 22 Oklahoma State with a big upset over number 9 Oklahoma 27-24. So Oklahoma, they just ended their season losing to Kansas and OK State in back-to-back weeks. Yeah, number 10 Ole Miss beat Texas A&M 38-35. Number 11 Penn State over Maryland 51-15. Number 13 Louisville over Virginia Tech 34-3. Clemson upsets number 15 Notre Dame 31-23. Hartman struggled for just 146 yards and 2 picks. Evie and Notre Dame always let me down. Number 16 Oregon State beats Colorado 26-19. Shedeur Sanders was for 245 and 2 touchdowns, so Colorado drops to 4-5. Number 17, Tennessee beats UConn, beating 59-3. I don't even know why that's a matchup. Poor UConn, 1-8 on the year. They made some strides last year, they were historically bad football program. They had like one win in like 3 or 4 years, and last year they were actually like kind of mediocre, won like 4 or 5 games. This year back to being 1-8. Number 18 Utah over Arizona State, 55-3. You have Arizona upsetting number 19 UCLA, 27-10. Number 21 Kansas beats Iowa State, 28-21. Number 24 win over East Carolina, 13-10. And Army with an upset over number 25 Air Force, 23-3. It's a big upset because Air Force came in a ranked team, came in at 8-0. Army came in at 3-5. That's a pretty big upset. So there was a lot of managerial stuff moving around. So the Mets, who looked like they were going to bring in Greg Counsell, they decide to go with Carlos Mendoza, the Yankees bench coach. So we thought, Counsell's going back to Milwaukee. Then the bombshell dropped that he was going to the Cubs. So basically, we just found out via that David Ross got fired, and the Cubs gave him a 5-year, $40 million deal, making him the highest paid manager ever to be the manager of the Cubs. So that's where he is now. I really wanted Counsell. I'm not sure about this guy Mendoza. Coming from Boone's staff, I don't really know about that. I don't love it, to be honest. That being said, I don't know anything about the guy. Cashman, has not made a lot of good business decisions lately. Maybe this guy's, the Yankees had a, Boone's replacement waiting in the wings. Maybe he's a diamond in the rough that slips through Cashman's fingers and he comes to the Mets and he does a good job. We don't know, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I really want to Counsell. So, if that's a lot, $9 million a year for a manager is a lot. Counsell's a very good manager, and Mets haven't had a good manager in a while. You had to go back to, Terry Collins was a decent manager. He took them to the World Series in 2015. Before I had to go back to Bobby Valentine, who hasn't managed in the big leagues in probably close to 20 years. 15 years. But, we'll see what happens. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But he is the Mets manager now. The Milwaukee Brewers have 6 candidates. Look, they're interested in their bench coach, Pat Murphy. Don Mattingly, who was the bench coach in Toronto. Of course, he was manager for the Dodgers and Miami Marlins. I love Don Mattingly. I think he should be on the Hall of Fame. He was a phenomenal player, obviously, for the Yankees. But he's not a good manager, to be honest. Joe Espada, the Astros bench coach, has been a top manager candidate for a few years now. Clayton McCullough, the Dodgers first base coach, has been a hot candidate this year. The Astros hitting coach, Troy Snicker. And Ricky Weeks is a former Milwaukee Brewers player. Those are their 6 candidates. So who they go? If it was me, I go either Espada, because I think he'd make a good manager. He's been the Astros bench coach for a while, through their whole run. I think he makes a great manager. Maybe McCullough. He's worked with a lot of good players. He's been a hot candidate. Or probably Pat Murphy, because he's been in the building for a while. Would be, he knows all the players, knows the organization. And he's been a manager, like a brief managerial candidate in the past. So for the Angels, their manager searches, they appear to be narrowing their search. Of course, they fired Phil Nevin after 2 seasons. I don't know why, but they did. Buck Showalter, who of course was just let go by the Mets, is a finalist for that job. They may hire one of their former players. Torrey Hunter, Tim Solomon, and Darren Erstad are all involved in that managerial search. So we'll see where they go. Clayton Kershaw just had shoulder surgery. Says he expected to come back at some point during the summer. He's going to be out a little while, but he might miss a little time next year, but he will pitch next year. The Miami Marlins hire Rays GM Peter Bendix as their president of baseball operations. Of course, they wanted to hire one over Kim Young, their GM, then she stepped down. So Peter Bendix is now running the show in Miami. We have, with free agency on the brink, we have some options being picked up and declined. Eduardo Rodriguez, Justin Turner, and Marcus Stroman opt out. Erod had 3 years and $49 million left on his contract with the Tigers, but he opts out. Justin Turner declines his $13 million option, and Stroman declines his $21 million option. Javier Baez opted into the last 4 years of $98 million of his contract. So sucks for the Tigers. He is washed. Tim Anderson has option declined, $14 million option declined. Former batting champion, had an awful year last year. And you had Lance Lynn, had his $18 million option decline by the Dodgers. They buy him out for $1 million. He had a rough year last year. He appears to not have much left in the tank. Back-to-back really bad year between the White Sox and the Dodgers. And Joey Votto had his option declined by the Reds. So his long time with the Reds comes to a close. And Michael Conforto also opted in to his $18 million option because he didn't have a great year last year. And apparently the Chicago White Sox are going to listen on their ace starting pitcher, Dylan Cease, though he didn't have a great year this year. So we'll see where they go. White Sox just blow that whole thing up. They're a disaster. The Gold Gloves were announced yesterday in the American League. First base was Nate Louse. Justin Nemes at second base. Matt Chapman at third, of course. Anthony Volpe at short. Anthony Volpe is the first Yankee rookie to win a Gold Glove in his rookie season. His bat ever catches up. He'll be a phenomenal player. You have Jonah Heim at catcher. Jose Barrios at pitcher. In the outfield, you have Stephen Kwan of the Guardians in left field. Kevin Kiermaier in center field. And in right field, you had Dolis Garcia for utility and Mauricio Dubon of the Astros. For National League, at first base, you had Christian Walker. At second base, and Nico Horner. At third, you had Brian Hayes. The first time in 10 years it was not known Arenado from the National League. At short, you had Dansby Swanson, so the Cubs and Olympia takes home Gold Glove honors. Catcher, you had Gabriel Moreno, whose defense came a long way this year. Toronto definitely going to regret trading him. In the outfield, left to right, was Ian Happ, Brenton Doyle in Colorado, and Fernando Tatis Jr. In his first year as an outfielder, he wins a Gold Glove. At pitcher was Zach Wheeler, and at utility it was Hae-Sung Kim of the Padres. So the award finalists, before we revealed the award finalists, Mike Elias, the Orioles GM, was named the executive of the year. No surprise there. For Rookie of the Year, the American League finals are Tanner Bibby, starting pitcher for the Guardians, Tristan Casas of the Red Sox, and Gunnar Henderson of the Orioles. My pick is Gunnar. I think it's pretty much a no-brainer. National League, it's Corbin Carroll, James Alvin, and Kodai Senga. I love Kodai Senga, but it's Corbin Carroll by a long shot. He was absolutely amazing this year. Absolute superstar. Manager of the Year in the American League, it was Bruce Bochy and Texas Kevin Cash in Tampa, Brandon Hyde in Baltimore. To be honest, I flip a coin between Bochy and Hyde. For a while, I was saying definitely Brandon Hyde. Now I'm really split after the Rangers playoff run. It's a regular season award, so by that standard, should probably go to Brandon Hyde. But either of those guys deserve to win it. National League, it was Craig Counsell, who it's going to be awkward if he wins, because he was nominated as the manager of the Brewers, but of course he's now the manager of the Cubs, as of yesterday. Skip Schumacher with the Marlins and Brian Snitker with the Braves. To me, it's Skip Schumacher taking that Marlins team to the playoff. I think that's what he should win, especially in his first year as a manager. The sign for the American League, it's Garrett Cole, Kevin Goldsman, and Sonny Gray. I think it should be Cole. I hate the Yankees, and they did not have a good year, but Cole was phenomenal. I think he wins his first Cy Young. National League, it was Zach Gallen, Blake Snell, and Logan Webb. It should be Blake Snell, for sure. He was phenomenal. Now he'll be his second. He won one with the Rays, now he'll win in both leagues. And that's definitely going to drive his price up, but he's an impending free agent. MVP in the American League, the finalists are Shohei Ohtani, and then the Orioles, the Texas Rangers, middle infield, Corey Seager, and Marcus Semien. It should be Ohtani. It shouldn't even be a competition. I don't care if he got hurt at the end of the year. National League, it's really tight. Ronald Acuna, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman all had phenomenal years, but I think it's Acuna. He had an absolutely insane year. So those are your award finalists for baseball. The Arizona Diamondbacks extend manager Torey Lovullo through 2026, so they gave him an extra 2 years. He was only 1 year off on his deal. Just took the team to the World Series after having only 83 wins or 84 wins, so he gets a 2-year extension, so kudos to him. Some other NFL injury news. Cam Akers of the Vikings back his torn Achilles for the second time in only a few years, so he's out for the year. Steelers linebacker Cole Holcomb is out for the year with a knee injury. And then Joshua Palmer, charter receiver, is on IR. They placed him on IR prior to the game on Monday, and the Giants also placed tight end Darren Waller on IR prior to the game on Sunday. So as Steve Kerr announced after the Paris Olympics, he's going to leave Team USA as head coach. Said it was his turn to pass the torch. We'll see who he passed it to. The in-season tournament's underway. I'll have a little more information as the week goes on. I don't know what they're trying to do with this thing, but we'll see what happens. Couple of injuries for NBA. CJ McCollum has a collapsed lung. Tough loss for the Pelicans. Hopefully he's okay. They're having tests to determine the severity, how long he's going to be out. Jamal Murray's going to miss, they said, multiple games with a hamstring injury. Nuggets All-Star guard. Dallas working out. Martavis Bryant apparently is getting attention now. He's got reinstated. Remember him from a few years ago? You know, the deep ball threat, but he's also always suspended. And the only other thing I have to talk about is Crown Jewel from this past weekend. You know, I do plan to cover recap Monday Night Raw at some point this week. Sami Zayn versus JD McDonough. Sami Zayn beat JD McDonough. You had the World Heavyweight title. You had Seth Rollins defeating Drew McIntyre to retain the title. And Sami Zayn took Priest's briefcase, so Priest couldn't cash in his briefcase. Then you had the Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley wins the Fatal 5-Way over Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Raquel Rodriguez. You had John Cena defeat Solo Sikoa defeat John Cena. So Cena has still won a singles match in over 5 years. Logan Paul defeats Rey Mysterio to win the United States Championship. Yeah, you had some distractions around the ring. You know, Logan Paul friend delivered. He had the brass knuckles. Then Escobar took him from him. Then Logan Paul's body was attacking other members of the LWO. And Escobar, he put in, like, to go help his friends, he put the Breton on ringside, and then Logan Paul picked up and punched Rey Mysterio in the face behind the referee's back and then pinned him. So with people deciding was it an accident, was it not? But Logan Paul is your new United States champion. He's only had 8 matches. He's already champion. I don't like him as a person. I think he's a bit of a douche. I think he's very arrogant. I don't care about his podcast, but he's a great wrestler. Io Sky defends here the WWE Women's Championship, defeating Bianca Belair. You had Cody Rhodes defeat Damian Priest. And then you had, of course, Roman Reigns defeated LA Knight to retain the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. All right, that's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.